So it would appear that the planets are aligning for Lucas Paquetá to be off ski from West Ham. It was leaked in the news yesterday that the FA are going to have to conclude their investigation, which basically means charge him or drop it within the next week. Now, the reason that is significant is because there is a window, literally a window, a transfer window of opportunity for someone to come in and sign Lucas Paquetá from July the 1st up until the end of July, or it might run from July the 1st to the 1st of August, something like that. It's a very, very small window where somebody can come in and they can sign him for the release clause. Clearly, there's nothing to stop anyone bidding for him in August, for instance, or in January or whatever, but to activate that release clause for 85 million. Now, everyone's been told, and why would you not believe this, that nobody is going to go and buy Paquetá when he has an FA investigation hanging over him. Of course, it makes absolute sense. You're not going to go and sanction a bid for £100-odd million, are you, to go for somebody that can, you might sign him, he might then get a 2 or 3 year ban. You're not going to bother. So I think the investigation being dropped is very, very important. However, I'm not totally convinced it's as cut and dried as everybody makes out. I would suggest most roads probably point to him leaving and going to Manchester City. They made a big bid for him last season, and that was before. They were trying to get him for 80-odd million. And we were taking none of it. We were having none of it. We were saying, no, he's available next year for 85, but if you want him now, it's going to be 100. Our pecker was up, wasn't it? We were feeling a bit full of ourselves because we just sold Declan Rice for 100 million. We can hold on, we're pretty good at this. And to be fair, I think we did do the. I think we got a good deal for Declan Rice. I know you look at it now and think, oh, maybe we could have got a bit more. We couldn't. Do you remember? Man City wanted Declan, and when the bidding. They bid 80 million and we said, no, we don't accept it. And then Arsenal came in with 105 million, which was a really weird jump. I don't know why Arsenal didn't come in with 82 or 83 or something like that. And then Man City said, well, we're out. Remember that? Go and check it out if you don't. That's what happened. I think, bearing in mind, at the end, there was no one else bidding for him. It was 105 or 80 million, basically, for Declan Rice. So I think the club got as much as they possibly could for him. But so I think because of that, we thought, hold on, we might be able to get 100 million for Paquetá as well. I am wondering what that's going to be the case now, because we know they're interested, no doubt about it at all. But I do wonder if Man City would have been looking at the player, and particularly his performance over the last month or so. I wouldn't blame them if they were looking at him and thinking, oh, man, 85 million is a lot of money. He can have a temper tantrum, can't he? His form has dropped off a cliff, really. His quality is brilliant. It really is. I mean, just going and looking back, well, it wasn't a particularly good team performance, let's be fair, against Chelsea, but he made an exceptional pass at the start of the game, an exceptional pass at the end of the game. Didn't do much in between, but the sort of passes that you see the top clubs have players that do that stuff. I think Man City are not the same team without De Bruyne in it. Don't get me wrong, I think Phil Foden's really stepped up. Foden's been absolutely brilliant, magnificent this season. But he's not the same. He's more and more jinky and twisty-turny in and around the box. Yes, he can play a decent long pass, but De Bruyne is one of the best long passers I've 50 years of age, one of the best long passers I've ever seen. I do think if he's not there, I do think Paquetá is a good option for Man City. But are they going to sanction 85 million? I don't know. I also don't know they've got an FA investigation themselves, haven't they? Of course, because of the way they generate money. Are they, because they know that scrutiny's upon them, are Man City now going to curtail their spending? Or are they going to continue as they were, which is basically spend as much as they wish? I don't know. I don't think it's cut and dried. I suspect Man City are going to come in with less than 85 million. And then you might get to a panic come the end of July where they have to bid 85 million of West Ham and say, no, you don't get him. Now, whilst I'm not, I actually don't mind the buyout clause. I'd rather not have them, but the timing of it, I do think is clever. Because what it means is, by giving them a month, if they've got to get it done in July, it means if it doesn't happen, West Ham still have August. What it stops is the opposition club or the buy-in club stretching that deal out so long that West Ham then can't buy a player, even if they do the money on the last day. So, you know, even if it happens, it has to happen in July. West Ham has still got a lot of time to go and buy a replacement. So actually the clause itself and the timing of it, I think, is quite smart. However, there's a little part of me, the more I do my research, the more I find out about Julian Lopetegui, the more I do wonder how good he could be. I'm talking about Paquetá within his team. I do wonder if there's a little twinkle in his eye, a little bit of mischief there. He's thinking, well, hold on, I could really get this guy playing. I think David Moyes' tactics were not necessarily bad for everybody. I think there's some players that thrived in his tactics, but I don't think they were. I don't think they were good for Paquetá. I really don't. He'd rather not be playing that way. You know, look how he plays for Brazil. It's like, you know, it's almost like a different sport, isn't it, really? And whilst Lopetegui has a reputation of being maybe a little bit defensive, I do believe that he has a lot of possession. Well, Paquetá's going to be all over that. He really is. It's just going to be a case of, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. And he can weave those patterns and he can make those passes. I think you'd see less petulance from him. Because I don't think he'd be losing the ball. I don't think he'd be surrendering it. He wouldn't be spending so much time without the ball. It wouldn't be fair to say, because when me and Gio do our player ratings over on Patreon, we often do a stat we call Stats Attack, and we have a look at the stats and who made the most passes for West Ham compared to who made the most passes for the opposition. We do tackles, headers, clearances, all the stuff, but passes is interesting because we always have less passes than the opposition. You'll often find that West Ham's best midfield passer might do 50 or 60 passes, and the opposition's best midfield passer might have done 120 or something like that. I think it's fair to say that Lucas Paquetá would be receiving twice as much of the ball under Lopetegui. Well, I think you're going to see you'll see the same player, but he'll be performing quite differently from within those parameters. Really interesting, I think, actually. So I don't know. I don't get the impression from West Ham that we're a selling club. I really don't. I don't think we need to sell. We definitely don't need to sell. You can tell that yourself if you do the figures yourself. Kieran Maguire said it. You can tell that from the figures. We're in a pretty healthy position. Everything you see when they do the FFP or Profit and Sustainability League table, we're all right. We're pretty damn good. We can spend without having to sell. So can we afford to say no to a big transfer fee? Yes, we can. Can Everton? No. Can Wolves? No. There's a lot of clubs who are going to have to sell. Chelsea are going to have to sell some players. West Ham don't have to. So actually, if the manager really pushed for it and says, do you know what, just keep him. Because there does come a point, I made this point with Declan Rice. With Declan Rice basically having 2 years left on his contract, which is what he did when we sold him, there were rumours that it could go 50 million. 50 million wasn't even worth it. Just keep him for 2 seasons. Just keep him. He was that good. Keep him. And there comes a point, if the offer is so low for Paquetá that you think, well, hold on a second, you're not going to be able to replace him with anyone better for the money that you're going to get, then just keep him. He's on a long contract anyway. If they can't exercise his release clause, then just keep him. Will he be unhappy at the start? Quite possibly, but the release clause is there. He signed it. Well, he didn't sign it. He insisted upon it. He insisted on a release clause, and it was the club's. It's quite clear because we've got Kudus and Paquetá got the same release clause. It's not a coincidence, is it? The club have said that, right, okay, 85 million exercised in July and your second season. That's obviously the way they want to do it. But he signed it. He can't have any complaints if someone comes in with 60 million and we don't accept it. Why should we? And to be fair, he's done all right. He's done all right. You know, he's won a trophy at West Ham. I think he's certainly increased his profile and his standing in the game. He's become, a well-known figure, hasn't he? Certainly put himself in the shop window. It's sort of worked for him. And also the club stood by him really, really well. When, let's be fair, It's been a big investigation. The club have never faltered. The club are very good at that. And David Moyes, to his credit, in the same way that David Moyes supported Kurt Zouma, he has supported him. So he can't really have too many complaints. He hasn't been put on a naughty step by the club. So I do wonder what his attitude would be if he decided to keep it. There's nothing to stop anyone coming and bidding for him. But I just wonder if after a little while, once he'd stop having a little sulk, he might not have one, but if he did, stopped having his little sulk, you might think, well, actually, I quite enjoy playing in this team, this possession-based team. And you never know, West Ham might do well next season. Be interesting to see. But yeah, I looked at it. But anyway, we're going to find out very soon because it appears that the FA, they've got to make a decision. FA have got to charge him or drop it. Drop the charge. They haven't made a charge. Drop the investigation or charge him. We're going to get a definitive answer one way or another. And from what you hear, the FA have not got evidence. They've not got any evidence. So we're going to find out. Now we're going to find out the truth. Are Manchester City interested? To what extent are they interested? If not, it's sort of win-win. We get 85 million for a really good player. Or we get to keep a really good player.